But J.K. Rowling tweeting, Stephen Ireland, who targeted me with endless abuse on here because I opposed the chemical castration of children and the removal of protected spaces for women and girls, has just been sentenced to 30 years in jail for child rape. So there's a tweet of him from June 7th, 2020 saying, how to ruin a legacy, become a TERF. Very disappointing, JK. What happens when women enter menopause? What about women who had hysterectomies? Women who don't menstruate because of hormonal issues? Are they not women? Nothing you say stops trans women from being women. And then the second screenshot, Pride Group founder jailed for rape of boy 12. Wow. Wow. It's all so tiresome. Why was there a 12-year-old boy on a dating app? A man has been jailed for 24 years for raping an extremely vulnerable 12-year-old boy after the pair met on a dating app. What the hell? And then, there was this other tweet. Someone said, BBC verifies pieced together verified video, satellite imagery, and expert views of the deadly attack near primary school in Minab. Some other guy said, as the Women Life Freedom Uprising was underway in 2022, and thousands were in prison, the fears growing of executions, Shayon86 quote tweeted here, the widely shared claim that the Iranian regime has committed to executing 15,000 detained protesters is not true. Please stop sharing it. There's no need to make up stories. Literally thousands of executions later, the tweet has not aged well. During the Iran massacre, it took weeks for the BBC to acknowledge anything, even with many urgent reports. Now, with an internet blackout in Iran the last 6 days, they seem to be able to verify very quickly. The big red flag here is that if Israel or the US that bombed the girls' school, the regime would have had no qualms about showing the dead bodies. Their report also does not mention why a girls' school would be inside IRGC grounds. Nothing but regime numbers quoted, and so this piece serves no purpose other than propaganda for the Islamic regime. Again, I have no idea exactly what's going on here. Who knows? Who knows what the reality is? But there was a post below this. There was a post below this that is now unviewable because the account owner has set their account to private. But this guy said, and Glinner was proved right. Glinner is Graham Linehan, who was very outspoken about, like, how transgenderism has been encroaching on women's and girls' spaces. I have no idea what this tweet said or how any of this transgender stuff is relevant to whatever the fuck is going on in Iran. But this guy said Glinner was proved right. And this person said he was not. He lost his career, his wife, and his dignity because of it too. Learn the lesson. I used to really respect you and love your comedy, seriously disappointed in you and for you. Learn the lesson. This is a very threatening language. He lost his career, his wife, and his dignity. Learn the lesson. Shut up. Take our side. Don't disagree, or we will destroy you. And I brought up this person, Levi Pay. I don't know who this guy is either. So the post is a perfect example of how cancel culture makes examples of individuals. It boils down to, we took away his career, we undermined his marriage, we think he's awful. And we will come for you too, Omid, if you're not careful. Learn the lesson, what a deeply sinister turn of phrase. Glinner was right all along. We know this because cancellation is what people resort to when they know that someone is right and they have no decent arguments to counter with. And I really, really wish that all of that nonsense would fucking stop. You don't have to ruin someone's life just because you don't like them. Just because they have a political opinion that you disagree with. That's still your fellow country mate, unless you're some, I guess, other person arguing about my politics from another country for some reason. They want you broken on your knees, but will rise stronger, wild and free. I certainly fucking hope so, buddy. It's the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Some places deserve respect, not the IT department making socially awkward TikTok dances. They all have to go back. And this is, obviously, TikTok dance on the World War II Memorial. It's really interesting. Indian origin Madhu Raju, that's a fun name, may face deportation from US over viral dance vid. And I think, like, when people go to Japan and they do disrespectful things in front of shrines, they are rightfully decried. When people go to, like, Auschwitz and do disrespectful things, they are rightfully decried. I don't understand why anyone would have a problem with, hey, maybe don't dance on a World War II memorial. Maybe don't do that, actually. Somebody named Pradheep J. Shankar, MD, of course, said this is woke nonsense. It's no different than the far left demanding we respect a rainbow-painted road honoring LGBTQ. In a free society, you have to deal with it. Now, I know this guy is not comparing the men who died fighting a war to people demanding we respect fucking rainbow murals. We can't deport the Americans who are disrespectful in our own country, but we can deport the people who come here with immense disrespect for our country and the bodies of the men that this country is built on. Why even come here if you're going to have this kind of an attitude, man? Actually insane. And then Christian Hayens over here saying, honoring our war dead is the exact same thing as affirming a destructive mental illness. Look at me, I am very smart. This is your brain on liberalism. War memorials and trans pride flags are not, in fact, the same thing. And you are either incredibly stupid or incredibly subversive for suggesting they are. And then he pointed out that this guy apparently writes for the National Review. National Review writers are the new form of noticing. It's actually incredible how consistently awful the takes are from people who write for this rag. And deport him. And they came here for themselves, not to be a part of something bigger than themselves. I wonder if they could even comprehend something bigger than themselves. It seems like so many people have like main character syndrome. And we have this wife jack account, Josie Star. This is a fucking hero, like actually. Hey, Palo Alto Networks, this is a heads up before your legal team gets contacted early next week and possibly on Monday. Your employee is in the video. His name is Madhu Raju, and he has been a cloud network security engineer at your company since June 2025. As you can see, his video dancing at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. has over 1 million views on X alone. It was also featured on NDTV, India's CNN, and on the Times of India, India's New York Times. After the immense backlash, Madhu Raju took down all of his social media accounts. He also owns and operates a dance studio in Dallas named Mad Dance. He took down the studio's X profile, Instagram page, and website. Fortunately, by the time he figured it out, my good friend, whoever Cybergreen is, had already archived everything and built a dossier on him. He will be reported to the State Department on Monday morning for visa violations that will result in his visa being revoked. You now need to do damage control. It's bad optics that you're hiring an H-1B visa holder in 2026. It's even worse that you're hiring an H-1B visa holder who is disrespecting veterans who died for America during the Second World War. My granduncle died liberating the Netherlands, and I was disgusted watching this video. If you fire this employee and issue a statement, it will help repair most of the damage. If you want to turn this into a positive public relations opportunity, hire an American for this role. There have been thousands of layoffs in the technology sector, leaving many unemployed. You have my word and commitment that I will personally look for a fantastic American cloud network security engineer if you fire him. You will get free promotion, and I am sure that other individuals and organizations on X will be happy to do the same. And once again, leftists will screech, they will cry out as they strike you. Leftists will say, "But you guys are supposed to be against cancel culture, what are you doing? You can't do this!" The thing they hate the most is being held to their own standards. And if you continuously get browbeaten with your morals, and eventually you not only lose, but you die because you held on to them so strictly, your morals were useless. They were worthless and they shouldn't have been defended. So if your morals lead to you losing and dying, what's the point? So you kind of have to no longer care when they try and screech and whine and cry about how that's not fair that you use our tactics against us. You fucking started it, brother man. You guys are the ones who wanted cancel culture to be an actual thing that people abide by. None of us actually want to use it, but if we have to, in order to get you guys to understand how fucking bad it is and how we want it to stop, that kind of seems like what needs to be done. But I thought this was incredibly funny. Just like how fucking hard this person went at like, hey, let's get this person deported. And then they made another post. An anonymous Palo Alto Networks employee contacted me, and he has been removed from the employee directory. His employment is believed to have been terminated. And someone asked, we'll need some proof. An anonymous source could just be his friend lying to try and get everyone to forget about it and move on. And Josie said, we will find out quickly. ICE Gov already has his details. The State Department will get them Monday morning. I would self-deport if I were him. Have you done your American patriotic duty of reporting illegals to ICE today? Have you? We need more reports. The reports will continue until morale is improved. Fox Nashville said, breaking news, according to a recently released statement, Nashville Noticias reporter Estefany Rodriguez was taken into custody by ICE yesterday. She was with her husband outside a gym when the vehicle they were in was surrounded. Her legal team says details on the reason will be released at a later time. And some guy, Joaquin Castro, he's a Texas congressman, hopefully not for much longer, said ICE arrested a journalist yesterday without a warrant. She is an asylum seeker, has valid work permits, and is married to a U.S. citizen. Her detention exposes the Trump admin's machine of cruelty that is attacking the free press and violating our rights. This lawlessness and cruelty must end. Homeland Security responding, saying this is false. Here's the warrant. It's embarrassing when sanctuary politicians fall for these obvious hoaxes peddled by the media. We look forward to you correcting the record. Next time, ask us and we'll give you the fact. Bro, 28K to 3.2K, that's a brutal fucking ratio. The worst thing that these fucking scum-ass progressives have done is made so many people defend the fucking feds. It is actually sickening how much defense of feds has to happen because the progressives are lunatics and believe any kind of lies peddled to them. U.S. Department of Homeland Security warrant for arrest of alien to any immigration officer authorized pursuant to sections 236 and 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act and part 287 of Title 8 Code of Federal Regulations to serve warrants of arrest for immigration violations. I have determined that there is probable cause to believe that Estefany Rodriguez Flores is removable from the United States. This determination is based upon the failure to establish admissibility subsequent to deferred inspection, biometric confirmation of the subject's identity, and a records check of federal databases that affirmatively indicate by themselves or in addition to other reliable information that the subject either lacks immigration status or, notwithstanding such status, is removable under U.S. immigration law, and or statements made voluntarily by the subject to an immigration officer and or other reliable evidence that affirmatively indicate the subject either lacks immigration status or, notwithstanding such status, is removable under United States immigration law. You are commanded to arrest and take into custody for removal proceedings under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the above named alien. Wow, that's crazy. You fact-checked by the government. Imagine having to get fact-checked by the government and more people know the government is the one not lying in this situation. I hate this clown world. And then this person said, it's actually insane how the left has absolutely zero immune system against propaganda. None. You don't even need evidence to lie to them. You just need the correct aesthetic. If you frame the lie with the right intersectional buzzwords and make sure ICE or Trump is the villain, they will eat out of your hand. Yes. And we see this all the time with like the people who hate me. They will post a clip and then they will post text above the clip and their text will completely say something different than what's in the clip, but nobody will watch the clip. And so their text becomes truth regardless of them posting something that debunks what they said. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Truth does not matter. The right is a hyper-vigilant, paranoid ecosystem that grift tests everyone to death. There's a weekly civil war within the right over who's grifting, and they will literally destroy the movement trying to hunt them down. There will be like one or two people trying to unify the right, and they get attacked too. The left is just a singular room temperature IQ blob that unquestioningly absorbs anything that paints them as the victim. It's because to the left, victim is currency. The more of a victim you can be, the more important of a person you are. It's very weird. YouTube is bringing back DMs after suddenly removing the feature in 2019. No, that is unnecessary. Why would you do that? I feel like the only reason to bring back DMs on YouTube is so that old crotchety people who want more control have more of a reason to push the online ID nonsense. Remember when YouTube had bulletins and DMing? You hate when websites get in-shitified? I think it makes sense that YouTube doesn't have DMs, and again, the only reason I could think for them bringing it back is to use it as a way to like, do you want random people on YouTube to contact your child? Look at how the comments already were in videos of minors on YouTube. The DMs will be much worse. This is another avenue for groomers. And it's like, they'd be right, but they're just going to use it to try and push online ID. So this was an unfortunate thing for me to see. Don't like that. Don't like that. The world becomes more unhinged. This guy down here saying a feature that TikTok and Instagram never dropped. Instagram is more adult oriented, I feel like, but TikTok having DMs is kind of weird. Trans porn star allegedly stabs man who wouldn't have sex over religious differences? The most confusing headline I've read this year. Transgender porn model La Rose Saint allegedly stabbed a man who rejected having sex with the adult content creator because Saint isn't Jewish. He was like, you know, I'm fine with, you know, the whole being transgender thing, but I draw the line at being a goyim. I can't do that one. That's so funny. That's so funny. The victim told Miami-Dade County Police they met 3 weeks prior to the incident and that he invited Saint to his apartment on February 19th, according to arrest records. Saint, 30, who has neck and forehead tattoos and posts explicit videos on X and Fansly, allegedly flew into a rage when the victim said they wouldn't have sex because Saint is not Jewish, authorities said. What is this fucking article, bro? What am I reading? The meat was not kosher. That's true. I like the Jew pickles. They got a better flavor than the regular dill, okay? Transgender's not enough. He wanted him to be trans-religious. This was like the final straw of people saying they wouldn't have sex with him because he's not a real woman. And then he finally gets someone who doesn't care, but then they're like, wait a minute, are you Jewish? And then he just snaps. Saint allegedly demanded his car keys and money, and when the man tried to escape to the bathroom, Saint attacked, pushing him to the ground and repeatedly punching him in the face. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's fucking brutal. The man escaped his apartment, but returned when he heard the sounds of Saint destroying his home, including a mirror, refrigerator door handle, and 2 pairs of sunglasses worth a combined $300. What? The man escaped his apartment, but returned when he heard the sounds of Saint destroying his home. Why didn't he call the police? If you have a crazy person inside your house that attacked you and is now destroying the things inside your home, why did you not call the police? Why did you not call the police? And also, yeah, so it's not about the trans person not being Jewish, it's about them destroying the home? Hold on, wait a minute. Allegedly flew into a rage when the victim said they wouldn't have sex because Saint is not Jewish. Saint allegedly demanded his car keys and money, and when the man tried to escape to the bathroom, Saint attacked. I feel like there's 2 different stories going on here. Maybe he didn't have a phone in hand after the attack. Oh yeah, we don't have pay phones anymore, bro. That fucking sucks. Saint allegedly grabbed a piece of glass from the shattered mirror and attempted to stab the victim as he held his arms up to defend himself, causing minor cuts on his left hand, along with facial injuries from being struck, cops said. Saint, who is also named Jacob Todd Pabellin, according to the affidavit, fled but was quickly pulled over by police and was found with the victim's home, car, and lock keys. The transgender porn model was arrested on battery and theft charges. Saint was released from jail on his own recognizance by Judge Marisa Tinkler Mendez. You're telling me that a transgender porn star who attacked a Jewish man was let out from jail by the Tinkler? Someone said, look at the makeup neckline. I don't wear makeup, so I think it just might be lighting. Like, the face definitely looks way more tan than the body, but maybe it's just lighting. I don't know. Neck tattoos to hide the Adam's apple. True and real. That's still crazy that he assaulted someone and tried to stab them and was released on his own recognizance. That's crazy. Miami too, bro? What's going on there? Released by Judge Marisa Tinkler Mendez and is scheduled to be arraigned on April 20th, according to the Miami DA's office. Saint denied the allegations. Fucking the Tinkler. If y'all really believe that story that's going around is the truth, I hate that for everyone. I'm definitely gonna have to tell my side of the story because this is absolutely insane. And the way I was lied on is beyond horrible, Saint wrote on X. Saint did not respond to a request for comment. Alright, okay. Clown World, why? Shake my head. Can't make a more tabloid article than what's being presented. Thanks, Foxu. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck this article is. That was probably a highlight for me today. Los Angeles is so bad that you'll get stabbed charging your car at the city library by a homeless man, and when an ambulance comes to save you, another homeless man steals the ambulance while they're tending to you at the scene, leaving you no way to get to the hospital, and then you die. Sounds like South Africa. The family of a man who was stabbed to death by a homeless man while he was charging his electric car outside the Downey Center Library has filed a claim against the city seeking $40 million in damages. They absolutely deserve the damages, but your tax dollars wouldn't have to pay these damages if we just didn't have these problems. The family of a man who was stabbed to death while he was charging his electric car outside the Downey City Library has filed a claim against the city seeking $40 million in damages. The victim, Reinaldo Jesus Lefont, 68, was charging his car at an EV station outside the library on September 13th, 2025. When a homeless man suddenly approached him and fatally stabbed him. I don't know anything about this case thus far, but I just want to say it would be a twinge funny if the homeless man was a born and raised American and the victim was here illegally. I was just like, man, he could still be alive today. Fucking homeless ruin everything they touch. How long did, like, Mom Donnie's no homeless encampments under the bridges thing stay into a thing? Authorities were called to the scene as paramedics tended to Lafont. A second homeless man, Nicholas DeMarco, 52, stepped into the unattended ambulance and drove away from the scene. This is like something out of a fucking dark comedy. This is so fucking horrible. If I was fucking the Jesus Lafont family people, like, I'm glad they're asking for 40 million. I would be like a level of pissed that I don't think I could quantify. This is like GTA Online. Prosecutors said the ambulance was not equipped with a Tremco anti-theft system, which is typically installed in many police and emergency responder vehicles that will lock the gear shifter when the vehicle is left running. Okay, so if they're typically installed in these kinds of vehicles, why was this one not equipped with it? That seems like a massive failure. In that moment, every second mattered, the claim read. The city's paramedics and rescue vehicle were Rinaldo's only realistic chance of survival. However, the city's paramedics failed to provide necessary medical aid and failed to transport Rinaldo promptly to a nearby hospital. Lafont later died on the scene. His family should get more than 40 million. Like, absolute insanity that the city's policies have led to some fucking clown snafu like this happening. Actually beyond infuriating. Attorneys also said records showed there were around 675 calls for service at the library and civic center between January 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2025, which included assaults, robberies, sex crimes, arson, theft, narcotics violations, and more. Well, this is a span of 3 years. That's a span of 3 years. Is that a lot for one building in 3 years? I wouldn't know. I don't live in the city. I come from a world where, like, whatever was happening around my mom's house was just like, oh, you know, that's just normal. I don't pay attention to that. But, like, my hometown, there's been like one murder in like 50 years. In a statement to the Register, Alexis Galindo, the lead attorney representing the Lafont's family, said, "The city of Downey knew this parking lot was dangerous. They knew the man who killed Reynaldo had just been arrested there the day before. They knew their rescue vehicle wasn't properly equipped, and still they did nothing. Reynaldo died within reach of help that should have been there. His family deserves answers, accountability, and justice. 1,000% they do." Attorneys are seeking $35 million in general damages and $5 million in economic damages for loss of financial support and funeral and medical expenses. Loved ones say Lafont, who worked a job at UCI Medical Center, had just retired 3 months ago before he was murdered. Bro, can you imagine working your entire life and being like, finally, retirement, I can relax, I can spend more time with my wife, I can maybe travel, I'm gonna ride my fucking motorcycle, bro. This guy was ready to live out the rest of his life and then got stabbed by someone known to police. It is actually just... I hate it. I hate that, like, you can do things decently and then some fucking scum of the earth can just take your life away from you, man. Friends said LaFont would often park to charge his car and visit the library in the mornings. He's survived by his family, children, and grandson. Navarro was later charged with murder and a special allegation of using a weapon to commit the offense. A pretrial hearing at a Norwalk courthouse is scheduled for April 2nd. Good fucking God. A Southwest Airlines flight headed from Nashville to here's Nashville, to Fort Lauderdale was diverted to Atlanta Friday night after a possible security scare prompted authorities to respond and remove a passenger from the aircraft. Video obtained by KTLA shows a tense scene inside the cabin after the plane landed, with passengers seated and holding their hands above their heads as law enforcement officers moved down the aisle. Southwest Airlines Flight 2094 diverted to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport around 9 p.m. local time, according to the flight tracking site FlightAware. The crew reported a disturbance involving a passenger during the flight. Authorities met the plane after it arrived in Atlanta and removed a passenger from the aircraft with assistance from federal officials. According to the video, no charges have been announced. In a statement provided to KTLA, a Southwest spokesperson said the plane landed safely after diverting to respond to a possible security concern. Southwest Airlines Flight 2094 landed safely at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport Friday evening after diverting to respond to a possible security matter. We appreciate the professionalism of our flight crew and sincerely apologize to our customers for the significant delay. Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of its customers and employees. The remaining passengers were later transferred to another aircraft to continue their trip to Fort Lauderdale. Officials later determined there was no credible threat, though it was not immediately clear what prompted the disturbance on board. Why don't they tell us what prompted the disturbance on board? Like, what was the security issue?
We are tracking the top headlines across the country.
Here's what's happening around the nation. Southwest Airlines passengers got a
bomb
Friday
threat
night when their flight was diverted because of security scare. Flight 2094 was on its way from Nashville to Atlanta. It was diverted instead to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. According to Southwest, the plane was...
Question. We have all this, like, TSA shit that we've been able to, like, or that rather we've had to deal with for decades. Ever since 9/11, right? Like, you got to take your shoes off. You can't have more than like a 3.4 ounce liquid bottle. They even throw out semi-liquid things. Like, if you have fucking tiramisu, they won't let you take it on the plane because they're fucking idiots and I hate them. I had to leave my tiramisu behind before because it was too liquidy. Left a bomb in the bathroom. And then like, In more recent years, they started being like, oh, well, you can just pay to skip all of that, actually. You can just, like, give us your information and pay us some money, and then you won't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your electronics out. You don't even really have to go through security anymore. You just pay us. And I was like, well, if people can just pay to skip all of that, what was even the point of it in the first place? Like, clearly, if you can pay to skip it, it's not actually required, and it's not actually helping to prevent anything. Can I go through the TSA pre-approved right now due to the war? Oh, did they shut it down? Did they shut down, like, doing the TSA pre-approved stuff at the moment? That'd be fucking interesting.
It's diverted because of a possible security matter. The FAA said the crew reported a passenger disturbance. Police officers assisted.
Well, you know, the perpetrator does match the Allahu Akbar allegations.
Passengers were moved to another aircraft to continue their journey.
Hopefully we get some more information on this. That's gonna be so fucking scary. What's that second article? Man dies after allegedly cutting his penis? What? Man dies after allegedly cutting off his own penis in downtown Los Angeles. What is going on in California? A man died after he allegedly cut off his own penis in downtown LA early Saturday morning. Information surrounding the incident was scarce at first. A Los Angeles Police Department spokesperson confirmed to KTLA that officers responded to the intersection of Figueroa Street and Pico Boulevard across from the LA Convention Center at 3:40 a.m. on reports of a man who was cutting himself. A white tent was seen at the scene, indicating a fatality had occurred, and the LAPD spokesperson verified that a death investigation is underway, but did not provide any further details on the incident. According to a photographer with a news stringer service On Scene TV, the man died after he quote-unquote cut his penis off and bled to death, as you do. But police officials did not elaborate on which part of the body the man suffered injuries to. Graphic footage taken by the photographer, who alleged the man was mutilating himself, showed his body lying on the ground with what appeared to be a large wound in his groin area. There was blood next to the clothing the man had been wearing, which was located a short distance away from where he was found. No information on the man's identity was known right away. You know, I'm kind of disappointed because, like, there were so many people who posted pictures of, like, their home cutting off of their penis or their testicles or both on the image boards, right? And they managed to not bleed out, but this guy did? You expect me to believe that those people posting on the image boards were that much more intelligent than this man? I don't know, bro.
This is a skill issue, but I'm gonna make it a gender issue.
An anti-ICE rioter outside ICE Portland has accidentally lit themselves on fire while trying to burn the American flag. You can't make this shit up.
Oh, what an idiot. What a wow, caught on fire. Put him out, put him out. Yep.
How do you recover from that level of stupidity, man? Stop, drop, and roll. He's a communist. He doesn't understand. Is this anti-aura? This is the opposite of aura farming. Dude's gonna get arrested by the feds now? No, he won't. They never get arrested by the feds. As Asmongold pulled up a tweet.
Something like that. This is Nyara. What is Nyara saying? You're next? Like, what is this? You're next? I don't even know. Like, the thing is, like, Nyara is a retard that just goes around and attacks people and makes up lies, right? I mean, that's who this person is. And again, like, there was a bunch of, like, you know, accusations about them being a groomer and shit like that going around. I don't know really whether those are true or not, but it's a pretty weird thing to say. So ultimately, I just want to get into that, right? I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get involved with this. And that's it.
Yeah, understandable. He said, I was off by like 2 months. So March 2nd, Calvin Coolidge Project said the U.S. military has destroyed all 11 Iranian ships in the Gulf of Oman. And Fat Electrician took a screenshot back in June 2025 where Raw Egg Nationalist said, yeah, but what does this mean? And it's a screenshot of orcas start wearing dead salmon hats again after ditching the trend for 37 years. And Fat Electrician said, history repeats itself. 1988, America has a TV star Republican for president. Orcas start wearing dead salmon hats. America shit stomps the entire Iranian Navy in 8 hours after they fucked around in Operation Praying Mantis. 2025, America has a TV star Republican for president. Orcas are back in their hats. Pending. So I think that's really funny. So I guess we should be paying attention. Maybe it's every time orcas wear salmon hats, we should be wary about which country's navy we're about to just explode. I thought that this Faithful Sheriff account was like a fan clipping account for the fucking peanut guy, but apparently this is a whole ass different peanut. Apparently I am like legume racist as all peanuts look the same to me. So I just assumed this was like, oh, it's a clipping channel. He's just clipping the burnt peanut guy, but this is a whole different fucking nut. I don't know where the fucking peanut came from, so I don't know if this is another situation of like he's literally impersonating the peanut, or if there's gonna be like a peanut extended universe where everybody has like different outfits on their peanut avatar. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Still don't think you should dox the guy. I still think that's bad. I was like, why the fuck are people doxing burnt peanut? Apparently they're not. They're doxing whatever this guy is. Don't do that. This guy said, I wanted to share some information with you guys on why I ended my stream early. I received this email from someone claiming to represent the burnt peanut. So apparently this is the burnt peanuts Twitter account. That makes a bit more sense. They sent me this cease and desist letter, so naturally my heart skipped a beat for a second because I was taken aback. I had to end the stream to investigate because if it was true, it's a serious matter. They asked me to immediately stop using a peanut avatar, don't use his name in hashtags, and don't use his name in your made-up story about how he turned you into a peanut. What the fuck am I reading? And if I didn't, they would report me to Twitch for impersonation and other things, which is ridiculous because I'm not impersonating him. After doing some research, this email, or who they claim to be, is 100% completely fake. It's essentially a phishing email of twofold. One, to get me to fold and stop doing what I'm doing, which I wouldn't. Two, to get me to call the number of the lawyer's office so then the trolls would have my number. What is happening? Welcome to the Peanut verse. Can you even do that? You thought the Peanut model would have been a public domain thing? I thought it was a public use model. This is actually a serious crime to pretend to be a lawyer and to pretend to represent someone. That aside, I actually do agree with one thing. I absolutely forced myself into the Burnt Peanuts universe by making up this story. I was having fun and didn't think much of it other than that. But now, since I've garnered way more attention in the past week, I think it would be best to remove his name from my lore and not include him in anything I do. So his brand is not negatively affected by people who have ill will against me. I will not, however, stop being a peanut, because though my avatar is a peanut, the Burnt Peanut cannot and does not have a copyright on being a peanut VTuber. That notion would actually be insane, especially since my avatar looks completely different than his. I'm gonna stop him right there and say that the Burnt Peanut man has put on so many different outfits on his peanut that it's literally impossible to tell the two of them apart. I genuinely thought this was like a fan clipping channel of the Burnt Peanut. And I was like, he's clearly doing a bit with that fake Southern accent. What are people getting angry about? Who would ever craft an online identity inserting themselves into the lore of another person? How monstrous and evil. It's weird, I guess. It's weird to craft your whole identity around that. Like, I could understand having like some sort of inside joke, but like, I don't know, man. Sorry, all the other foxes have to stop. I can be the only one.
There can be only one.
I think there's a difference between all the fox VTubers, right? Like even other foxes with white hair, like we look very fucking different. We don't have like the same art styles or the same model mamas or like the same like cohesive design in any of our outfits, right? Like it's completely different. The Peanutception. Are you not Tenma? Kirsche is part of your online personality lore. She's my wife. Oh god. Especially since my avatar looks completely different than his. I have different color, different textures, and different shape on purpose from the Burnt Peanut. Bro, I don't know what this guy means.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give him. Okay.
They're the same picture.
He himself has in his lore that he is part of the peanut race and has shown multiple times on his stream other peanuts other than himself to be in existence. I can claim to be one of those other peanuts from the peanut race and 100% be in my right to do so. You know what? If I make jokes about there being, you know, people of anime and anime racism, sure, why not? Let's have a peanut race. I am my own peanut, my own name, my own person, my own brand. My brand! Thanks for your support, everyone, and I'll see you in the stream tomorrow. Nice try, trolls. This says, to the faithful sheriff, cease and desist, unauthorized imitation, impersonation, and related infringement of the Burnt Peanut. Dear faithful sheriff, also known as or formerly associated with Dr. Witnesser, the firm represents the Burnt Peanut, the client, a prominent Twitch streamer, blah, blah, blah. So he's saying this is like a fake email now, that he doesn't believe it's real. What the fuck is going on? Who uses Outlook? That's a great fucking question. If the private email is fraudulent, why did you decide to come out to social media and tell everyone about a non-issue that involves nobody and then at Peanut as if he's involved? Why use social media for anything? I'm fucking never deleting this app, man. This Peanut race war is going on, dude. Benny Johnson was saying, this is one of the Islamic attackers who threw a bomb at conservative protesters in New York this weekend. In his first on-camera appearance since his arrest, he flashed an ISIS salute. He's not sorry. They hate you and want you dead. He's even smiling. He's even smiling as he does like the little ISIS like finger gesture. That's not the ISIS salute. That's the mainstream Islamic teaching that there's only one God, Allah. And that doesn't help your case, lady. This fucking guy, Walter Masterson, I guess he's a comedian? I don't know. I don't know what kind of comedy he does, but he said, I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into the city, when he threw that over my head. And so here's a clip. Here's a clip of a terrorist literally using this cuck to springboard himself to throw his bomb farther.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
Like, we make fun of me for having the survival instincts of a plant, but like, if a terrorist screams Allahu Akbar and lobs a bomb over your head, maybe don't stand there like a deer in the headlights, you know? Like, it's actually unironically a miracle that the terrorists were too dumb to get working bombs. And this guy continues, I still stand by it. As a born and raised New Yorker, everyone is welcome. Everyone except Chief Goat Fucker Jake Lang. Okay. For those of you unfamiliar with Jake, he's the one who lost to the letter S. I mean, it's icy, so he tripped a little bit, but he's still knocking the letters down. I don't really get what this guy's saying. And then he continues, I cannot stress this enough. It was right near our feet, and it did not look real. We just stood there laughing. Meanwhile, the incel femoids ran away, having been totally jester-mogged. Their cortisol levels have yet to recover. And he got community noted. NYPD bomb squad confirms it was real, describing it as an improvised explosive device that could have caused serious injury or death. And it's like, man, what are you doing here? Literally a video that proves that these people are mentally ill. He is advocating for these people to stay here, and one of them uses him to throw a bomb, and he stands there in disbelief that it happened and doubles down on the like, yeah, I haven't changed my mind. Even almost getting bombed to death has not changed my worldview. And this also kind of comes in with what I've said before, like how do you even begin to deprogram these people? Bezmenov had said that once the boot comes down on their neck, they will realize the utopia that they've been asking for isn't actually what they've been told it is. This guy almost got bombed to death, and luckily for him, the terrorists were too dumb to make working bombs, but it could have turned out much, much differently. And he hasn't changed his mind at all. The most cartoonishly stereotypical incarnation of a bomb-flinging jihadi. Yeah, like, this was actually cartoonish. And he's still just like, yeah, they do belong here. I double down. I stand by what I said, even though I almost got bombed to death. We also found out parents of alleged ISIS-loving NYC bomb thrower own $2.5 million Pennsylvania home and are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. This makes another point for denaturalization. Someone named Jill said, here's concrete proof that you can give foreigners everything, including a $2.5 million house in a safe neighborhood, and they will still hate you because you're white. And it makes me wonder, how long were these people here and how did they manage to buy a $2.5 million home? The odd thing is the house was bought 9 years ago, but these people reportedly have only been here for a couple of years. Who bought this house and how did they come to live in it? Parents became naturalized citizens in the last 20 years, own a convenience store, and have a 5,800 square foot, $2 million plus home. The math ain't mathing on that one. Maybe they own a Leering Center. And I mean, if they own a convenience store, we know that foreigners were prioritized as loan recipients. Parents of alleged ISIS-loving NYC bomb thrower own a $2.5 million Pennsylvania home. Alleged ISIS-loving wannabe terrorists Ibrahim Kayumi, 19, and Amir Balat, 18, grew up with successful immigrant families in idyllic white picket fence suburban Pennsylvania before they tried to detonate IEDs near Gracie Mansion, the Post has learned. Kayumi's parents even own a gorgeous $2.25 million home in scenic Newton, symbolizing the family attaining the American dream after arriving from Afghanistan decades ago, records show. The Balat family lives about 12 miles away in a comfortable 3,200 square foot, two-story house worth a respectable $653,000 in leafy Langhorne, Pennsylvania. His parents hailed from Turkey and became naturalized citizens in 2017, according to Fox News. How did they buy a house worth that much after only being here for such a short time? They've been nothing but sweet and kind and loving, a neighbor and family friend of the Balats told the Post on Monday. I'm in shock. I love them. I've been in their house. They're always with the tea, she said. Adding of Emir, I knew him when he was younger. He was just a typical kid shoveling snow, helping. I'm in absolute shock. It's sad that this is the world we live in. A neighbor and family friend. I bet this is a dumb fucking white woman. Living the dream that was stolen from decent hardworking Americans, you mean, right? Authorities said the pair who allegedly pledged allegiance to ISIS after their arrest appeared to have been radicalized online and plotted to detonate deadly homemade bombs at an anti-Muslim protest outside Gracie Mansion on Saturday afternoon. You see, this doesn't make any sense to me. Because, like, if you're living in a $2.5 million mansion in a white picket fence area and you're literally living out of the silver spoon, what in the possible fuck could radicalize you in this way? Like, as an immigrant to a country that has clearly given you literally everything, what could radicalize you against it? You are literally living a better life than a majority of natural-born Americans. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a violent foreign terrorist organization, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said Monday, after Balat and Kayumi were hit with a 5-count federal complaint charging them with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction. Kayumi and Balat allegedly traveled from the blissful rows of the McMansions in Bucks County to the Big Apple and hurled homemade bombs at racist agitator Jake Lang's anti-Muslim demonstration outside the mayoral residence on the Upper East Side, where a counter-protest was also taking place Saturday. And I hope that they're not given leniency because they are living in, like, Silver Spoon mansion areas. I feel like if you're going to do terroristic acts, you need to serve the punishment for doing terroristic acts. Their journey into alleged terror shows every sign of contrasting with the pair's quiet, even well-to-do upbringing, a stone's throw over New Jersey's border, as recounted by neighbors, school administrators, and records. This is not the kind of place you think of when you think Islamic terror. One neighbor of the Kaloumi family, Kathy, said Monday, this is Americana here. It's middle class, put in the best way. This is Americana. It's middle class. $2.5 million house. It's middle class, by the way. Is just everyone insane? Middle class my ass. Like, I shocked people saying that, like, in New England, right, like, middle class houses are basically almost $1 million now. They can't seriously be calling what 2.5 million middle class. Pretending to be model citizens while plotting mass casualties seems to be tracking in modus operandi. That very much seems to be a pattern. I'm not sure where the kid went wrong, but he definitely didn't pick it up at this neighborhood, she said. But you see that a lot, don't you? The worst people coming from the nicest places. I guess what indoctrinates you online has nothing to do with location. Balat still attended Neshaminy High in Middletown Township, Pennsylvania, that was really hard to get through, as a senior when he committed the alleged terrorist act, and was just 3 credits short of graduating, his attorney said. We understand that events receiving significant media attention can raise questions for family, staff, and students, the district superintendent Jason Bowman wrote in a letter to the school community. At this time, there is no information indicating any concerns related to our schools. I wonder if he's going to be allowed to graduate just like the guy in Texas who murdered that other white kid. I wonder if they're going to let him graduate. Mehmet Isik, a Turkish community liaison in Balat's neighborhood of Levittown, described Balat's father as a good member of the community. He's a member of the congregation. He's a good man, a good member of the community. I've known him 25 to 30 years, Isik said. You say he's a member of the congregation. When a normal American hears congregation, they think like a Catholic or a Christian church, but what possible congregation do you mean here, good sir? I'm as shocked as anyone about this. I've seen Amir Balat. He was always respectable, always nice. It's really surprising. Both Balat and Kayumi are U.S. citizens with immigrant parents, law enforcement sources said. Kayumi's parents became naturalized citizens between 2004 and 2009 after leaving war-torn Afghanistan. They appear to own a convenience store, records show. The massive Kayumi family home in the reserve at Makefield, an upper-middle-class, mostly white subdivision, surrounded by farmland, was built in 2018, according to records. You know, that's really weird. That all of these people that, like, severely hate white people tend to live in areas where they only live around white people. And that's like, well, if you hate white people so much, why are you living in an area where the majority of people are white people? That just don't make no goddamn sense. Aosabi, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Aosabi Raiders. Welcome, welcome. How do you afford a $2+ million house with a convenience store? That's a great question. Next question. And apparently their house was built in 2018, according to records. What the fuck? That's even a new build home. Kayumi graduated in 2024 from Newton's Council Rock High School North, a school district rep said. At this time, there's no information indicating any threat or connection to Council Rock schools, Andrew Sanko, the school superintendent, said in a statement. Kayumi's father, Kayer Kayumi, what a fun name, sounded rattled during a brief conversation with the Post. I'm in the middle of some work with my attorney. I cannot talk at the moment. I'm talking with my attorney. I have no time to talk right now. Thank you, sir. Kayer Kayumi said. That's weird. What a weird thing to say when your son is found to have been committing terroristic acts. That's a very strange response. The pair appear to have left their sleepy enclave and unremarkable upbringings behind Saturday morning, court documents state. A vehicle registered to one of the Balot's family members was spotted by a license plate reader driving toward Upper Manhattan along the George Washington Bridge at roughly 11:35 a.m. Kayumi's mother also filed a missing persons report in Pennsylvania, saying that she last saw him at home about 10:30 a.m. that day, the documents reveal. Why would you file a missing persons report for one day? And not even one day missing if the last time you saw him was 10:30 a.m. Why would you file a missing persons report? That seems a little weird to me, because it sounds like she filed the report on the same day that he hadn't been seen since 10:30 a.m. What? That seems a little weird to me. Like, usually people would be like, oh, he's probably just out late at a friend's place or something. It's weird that he didn't call. If he didn't come home the next morning, I'd understand contacting police. But that's kind of weird. Overprotection, they plan to run away. I don't know. Parents wanted an alibi? I have no idea, but that seems a bit weird to me, to like, if this was filed same day and he had only been out of the house since 10:30 a.m., that's very weird. An hour after the car passed into New York City, Balot and Kayumi attended a counter-protest against right-wing nut. How many people are in the peanut verse? Jake Lang's anti-Muslim protest outside Gracie Mansion, police and prosecutors said. Balot allegedly hurled a homemade bomb packed with a volatile explosive favored by international terrorists known as Mother of Satan. Bro, what? Kayumi was pictured handing Balot a second bomb, documents allege. Police quickly arrested the pair, who just as swiftly made alleged confessions that betrayed radical religious motivations. While their upbringing was Americana, it appears their online habits acquainted them with radical Islamist hate. Kayumi admitted he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone, documents state. Sources with knowledge of the investigation told the Post that both suspects had traveled overseas in recent years, including Istanbul, Turkey, a known hotspot for ISIS training. Balot held up his right index finger Monday as he was escorted from a police precinct, the universal salute for the ISIS terror group. You know what would be unendingly funny? Because, like, ISIS has made public statements before. If ISIS came out and they were like, we do not claim these young men in the name of ISIS. By Allah, they have failed their duties of jihad and they will never get 72 virgins in heaven. If they were dedicated, they would have suicide bombed instead of trying to take an easy way out. And now they amount to nothing but failure. You know, like, that would just be incredibly hilarious to see ISIS come out and, like, disavow these guys. Just be like, they were ineffectual. We don't fucking want these rejects. I don't know who these American freaks are. They aren't ours. By Allah, they have a skill issue. Like, that would just be peak comedy in Clown World times. And there's this other thing where it says, breaking, attorney for the New York City terrorist says they're in different age groups. They are not known to each other. There is no reason to believe they knew each other prior to this incident. And someone named Hans Monkney, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I have no idea who he is, but he said, not sure if he, the lawyer, or attorney, realizes it, but this actually makes it infinitely worse if true. It would mean either that two Islamic terrorists independently decided to attack the same place on the same day, or that the original attacker was able to recruit another one on the spot almost instantly, and without any difficulty. So I feel like, again, what this lawyer is saying is very weird. Red flags continue to mount. Especially when in this article we read that one of them handed a bomb to the other one. If they didn't know each other prior to this, Where did one recruit the other? How did one recruit the other? That's a horrifying thing to try and think about, because if you can just go out on the street and be like, hey brother, I'm an Islamic extremist and I'm about to bomb these protesters, you want to bomb them with me? And they just go, yeah, sure, why not, brother? Like, that's horrifying if you can just pick someone up off the street like that. Hey, you want to help? Sure, yeah, right? And then the lawyer saying they're in different age groups. One is 18 and one is 19. They're both adults. I wouldn't consider 18 and 19 different age groups. Hey girl, I'm an Islamic extremist. Want me to bomb that pussy up? I'ma tear up your strip like it's Gaza. And then Jeremy Kaufman thankfully got a screenshot of this because this got deleted. CNN said 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. Chat, do you remember? Do you remember when they used warm weather to describe a reason why crime goes up? And it became another warm weather could be here. But in less than an hour, their lives would be drastically changed as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zoran Mamdani's home. Here's what we know so far. This is like the gentlest and nicest way to refer to terrorists I've ever fucking seen. And it's actually wild that someone at CNN had enough of their frontal cortex eaten by parasites that they thought this was okay to fucking post. What the fuck are they doing? Is it wild that someone at CNN wrote this? I mean, well, I wonder if it's the same guy that ate fucking human brain with that Indian tribe. That would make sense, you know, the human brain parasites got to him. And then CNN had to issue a retraction. They said, a post regarding the 2 individuals arrested for throwing homemade bombs outside of New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani's home failed to reflect the gravity of the incident, thereby breaching the editorial standards we require for all our reporting. It has therefore been deleted. And even in this retraction, they make it sound like people were trying to bomb Mamdani's home instead of it being Islamic terrorists pledging allegiance to ISIS, bombing protesters who don't want Islam in the city. Which, to be fair, if you have an anti-Islam protest that then gets bombed by Islamic terrorists, it kind of makes their point, does it not? It kind of gives the protesters a bit more legitimacy about wanting no Islam in their city. I'm like, am I taking crazy pills? A woman lied about being raped and will now go to prison for up to 7 years. In 2024, Isabel Rose, a British citizen, flew to Hong Kong to meet a man, who is also a British national. Rose stayed with the man, but ended up filing a police report stating that he raped her. 3 days later, the man, who has not been named for privacy reasons, was arrested. However, 2 days after that, Rose herself was arrested on suspicion of blackmail. Investigators discovered that she had attempted to blackmail the man for £100,000. As a result of the trial, which examined text exchanges between the 2 parties, Rose was found guilty of blackmail and perverting the course of justice. Feminists have tried to cry sexism, but the presiding judge was also a woman, who noted Rose was a dishonest, uncredible, and unreliable witness. Huge win for Hong Kong and the assumption of innocence. And we need to see fucking more of this, man. We need to see way more people getting punished for false accusations. This says a Brit who reported rape in Hong Kong faces jail. A London woman who made a rape claim to police in Hong Kong is facing jail after being convicted of blackmail and perverting the course of justice. Isabel Rose, 25, from Hackney, East London, flew to Hong Kong in early 2024 to visit a man she had previously met while traveling in Thailand. After telling police she had been assaulted, the man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was arrested and later released without charge. After a trial, the judge said the prosecution had proved beyond reasonable doubt that Rose was guilty of both charges. Rose, who had been effectively trapped in Hong Kong while on bail for the last 2 years, has been remanded in custody until a sentencing hearing on July 22nd. So it sounds like she was in court in Hong Kong and not in Britain, which, you know, with the like little wig thing here, I would have assumed that this was a British magistrate, right? I would have just assumed this was Britain. But the article makes it sound like it was in Hong Kong. So that's very interesting. Nose ring theory proven right once again. That's true. That's true. You know, the type, a terror of the council estate. Hong Kong used to be a British territory. That's true. I didn't know that they had the, like, the English wig thing going on in Hong Kong too. I was unaware that their judges there did that, but I wonder if she assumed she'd be able to get away with lying, because she would have if this happened in the UK. Thankfully, Hong Kong seems to be a real country, unlike the UK. And the irony behind that statement is definitely not lost on me. Her legal team explained the verdict to her as she sat crying in the dock of Wan Chai Court District. The case against her centered on allegations that she demanded money from the man, a British national, after accusing him of rape. The prosecution claimed Rose asked the man for £5,000 shortly after the alleged assault, and later demanded £100,000 while threatening to go to the police to report a crime. They argued the payments amounted to blackmail and that her report of rape to the police was false. Rose maintained that she had been raped and sought compensation that she claimed was first offered by the man following the alleged sexual assault. Speaking ahead of the verdict, Rose told the BBC, "I reported it to the police within 72 hours and very quickly after the allegation was dropped completely, and I was the one left facing charges of blackmail. It takes a lot to have to go through that story over and over again. I feel like I am a victim. I feel like I am a victim," she says. People who lie about this shit make it infinitely more difficult for actual victims, because more and more people will be less likely to believe something that happened, even if it actually did, due to all the people lying. This one says, James Talarico, you and I, white males, have a greater responsibility to love our enemies, so that those trans kids that show up at the Texas Capitol to just advocate for their basic humanity, so they don't have to. He's running for the Senate, thank you.
You know, we use the word privilege a lot. I think maybe a better word, at least in this conversation, is responsibility. Because I think you and I have a greater responsibility to love our enemies. So that those trans kids that show up at the Texas Capitol to just advocate for their basic humanity. So
why would white men have a greater responsibility than anyone else for advocating for anything? I mean, it's like, unless it was in specifically white men's interest, I don't really understand that greater responsibility comment. He's a cuck then! Do shut up, heathen. It's so strange. And also, I don't know what this guy is wearing, but it looks like he has an axe thing protruding out of his head.
They don't have to. You know, I
it's just like weird shine.
Oftentimes connect with some of my Republican colleagues because we share a lot, right? For the most part, the Republican caucus here in Texas is white, older men, straight, cisgendered men from small towns. That tends to be, you know, then the Democratic caucus is everybody who's not that. So it's kind of a mess.
Well, that's a weird thing to just start saying on TV.
Of a coalition, because it's everyone who doesn't fall into that bucket. It's like, we don't have much in common, except for the, you know, we use the word privilege a lot.
Well, he's running as a Republican. I'm pretty sure he's Democrat. I'm like 95% sure he's running as a Dem, which obviously. You hate the white men's burden idiocy? Yeah, I feel like believing that something is the white man's burden is incredibly racist, because it's like, they can't do it themselves, so we must do it for them. And it's like, that's kind of weird. That makes me a little uncomfortable, man. And then there's a second video of him. It says, unearthed Texas Democrat U.S. Senate candidate James Talarico says he loves trans kids as much as his family.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking weird. Why does this guy love trans kids so much? I feel like that's kind of red flaggy, brother. Oh my god. Claiming that whites are inherently superior equals bad and racist, but insinuating that whites are inherently superior equals good and not racist when you're a Democrat. It's so fucking weird. Pim, that's not something you should be yelling. Oh man. And for a final weird ass video, we had Lindsey Graham doing Lindsey Graham things.
All the anti-Seminites to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
Like, I get what he was trying to say, right? He's trying to say, like, all the anti-Semitic people who want to blame absolutely everything on the Jews, I'm not with you. But then to have him say, I'm with Israel until my dying day. Oh, buddy. What a weird thing for somebody in our political sphere to say. It could have just been like, yeah, I'm not with you anti-Semitic weirdos. I'm here for Americans. Right? Worst timing ever. This guy just made the anti-Semitism in the world go up tenfold. Why would you say something like that? Her saying, to Americans who want to focus on America, isolationists, I'm not with you, I'm with a foreign country, is so fucking insane for a United States politician to say. He needs to be deported. I don't think we can deport Lindsey Graham, but maybe we could do like a trade. You know, maybe we could have like some sort of NFL trade, but for like politicians. I don't know.